All right. Sorry. All right. Chambers County Commissioner Court come to order. This is a regular meeting virtually of the Chambers County Commissioners Court on Tuesday, 14th day of July, 9:30 a.m. County Courtroom, Anahuac, Texas. If you'll all rise, Ryan's going to lead us in prayer this morning. Ryan.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and all these people that are working very hard and those in the community that are doing their part to help us all. And we pray that you give this body of decision makers and leaders today the right words to say, the right decisions to make. And we pray that you be with everyone and continue to help us work together and to beat the pandemic that is currently causing such a global issue for all of us. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Ryan, you lead some pledges.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all. And now the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state under God,
one and indivisible.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, we're going to start out with a COVID-19 update. Dr. Brown, would you like to begin? You're on mute, Dr. Brown. There you go.
I got off. Yeah, good morning, Judge, and good morning to all the commissioners.
Good morning.
We still had a lot of good news to report, but essentially, since this latest surge happened in Chambers County, I think when it really started, we had around 50 or 60 patients, and we have over 500 now. So that's been a 1,000% increase in 4 to 5 weeks. So it's here and it's wreaking havoc. I've been calling it kind of a brush fire. Mary Beth will have more information on exact numbers, but to start with, we've been doing everything we've been doing and more to try to mitigate the spread. The judge has his orders out, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and in conjunction with what's coming down from the state, I've tried and reported to keep up. I'm on a phone call every Monday and Thursday with the local health authorities from the region, including Harris and Fort Bend, just all the region 5-6 counties. Most of them are on there. Kind of a private call to talk about what's going on, and trying to kind of keep up with what the other jurisdictions are doing, keeping in mind we don't have 8 or 10 million people in our county, but trying to keep up. And I've been keeping the judge and the health department apprised of what's going on there. As far as testing goes, we have conducted a couple of mass testings a week or 10 days ago, where we tested about 900 people, 800 and something people in east part of the county. I'm sorry, east part of the county. And we had a pretty high positivity rate in that. Now that included obviously some people that came over from Harris County to take advantage of the free testing. But the rate of positivity in the test we're doing is going up too. I don't know that it's a different virus. There's research out there saying that it's mutated a little bit, and what this virus does is when it mutates, it essentially doesn't get more deadly. It mutates to get more contagious, to spread itself more. And I think there's some of that going on, and that's supported by research and done in both here and in Europe. We have also worked closely with our community partners to provide testing for the citizens of Chambers County, including the hospitals, doctor's office, private practices, urgent cares, freestanding emergency rooms, as we have from the start. They're beginning to get a little bit overloaded, but I think we're still able to provide tests to those that need it or want it in Chambers County for the most part. As far as what's planned for going forward, it's more of the same. It's trying to educate the public. It's trying to protect the public that might not want the protection we're handing out in terms of some restrictions. I think we can anticipate, I'm pretty sure we can anticipate in the next few days, if not today, those restrictions getting more stringent. And that's probably going to come from the state level, from the governor, from what I'm hearing. It may be, more akin to some stay-at-home type orders. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like because I'm not privy to what he's got planned completely, but I would anticipate that. The other issue that's starting to come up is school openings in our school districts. I know the districts and the superintendents and the school boards and the teachers and the parents are all working hard to put a plan together for that. And they're doing that under guidance from the TEA, and we're trying to help them formulate plans. I think Winnie has got a pretty good plan in place. I'm not sure at this point what Barbers Hill is doing, but I think they're working hard to craft something that's going to provide, when I say they, I mean all the districts are working hard to craft something that's going to provide a safe environment for the kids and teachers, and an alternative possibly environment like online or virtual classrooms for those that are sick, or in case there's parents that don't want to send their kids, or in case classes or parts of the school or the whole school has to get shut down due to the spread. This virus is not as serious in kids as it is in adults. It's not spread by kids as much as it is by adults. So that's a good thing. But we're looking at that coming up, and trying to help everybody formulate a plan. I think everybody in the county is working real hard to do that. I know I've talked to Mr. Poole and seen the plan from Winnie, and it looks good. On a medical front, more as far as we move forward, I mean, they're still working on treatments. There's some antivirals. I'm sure you've seen on the news that they're using for people once they get really sick in the hospitals. There's not as many people dying, but the hospitals in town are getting full in both their general beds and their ICU beds, and that's not anticipated to stop. So there's a lot of things going on with CETRAC and the Texas Medical Center and the big hospital systems about trying to move patients around to maybe with the goal of keeping COVID patients isolated from the rest of the patients as much as possible, and to utilize other hospitals for non-critically ill or critically ill patients. I know we've even had some transfers to Bayside from Houston. They're looking to send people out of Houston into the surrounding counties to some extent. EMS has taken measures to protect their own, and to try to cut down on wait times. I mean, the total call time for EMS has skyrocketed in the last couple of weeks from, an hour and a half, 2 hours to 4 hours or more by the time they pick somebody up till the time they get them where they're going if they're really sick due to the congestion in the ERs. I've been on the phone with a doctor from Baylor who has been the vaccine czar for several administrations in Washington, and he's a very smart guy. And he says if they're able to develop a vaccine, it probably won't be out until mid to late 2021. So I think it's unrealistic to think that we're going to get any help from a vaccine anytime soon. What else, Mary Beth? I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to let the court know. The health department is working long hours and very hard to maintain the level of attention to this problem that we've been able to provide up until this huge surge. And I think we're staying up with the number of cases. It's a daunting task when you get that many cases every day to do the contact tracing and epidemiological investigation. It's just the numbers, but we've got help, and I think Mary Beth and the rest of the staff have really stayed on top of that, and I think we're ahead of the game, even with the attention to detail that we're still providing, even ahead of some of the bigger jurisdictions in the region. And I wanted to be sure and mention that. We've got an amazing health department, and we're working hard. I think I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Mary Beth now. I'll be available for any questions whenever the judge says it's the appropriate time. Mary Beth? Or Judge?
Okay. Good morning. So I'll start out with thanks, Dr. Brown, for I'll just send me your checking account number, and I'll put that quick payment in there for that shout out to the health department. We appreciate it. And I also second that. I know everyone's worked really hard around here, and we have gotten some extra help in the last week or so to help us get caught up with some of those cases. We really appreciate it. And we do know from the beginning that we have been able to perform contact tracing on our cases, and we feel like that from the beginning, Dr. Hellerstadt and Dave Gruber have said that the best way we can contain the spread of disease in our county and in the state of Texas specifically is to be able to do those epi investigations, contact trace those cases to be able to better contain the spread of disease in Chambers County. And with our close proximity to Harris County, the city of Houston, the more urban areas, we know that we need to just get a jump on these cases. So what I'll do first is just kind of touch on our case counts. We did not report over the weekend, and we've kind of changed our reporting system to start reporting daily at 10 a.m. What happens is that a lot of the local healthcare facilities, they report to us starting like at 3 and 4 in the evening. And so what happens is that it delays us, and we've kind of made a commitment to try to get that information out to the public. And so it kind of delays us in the evening time and on top of our caseload. And so it just kind of burdens us. So with that being said, between Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we have 28 new cases, which brings our total case count in the county to 618. Also, though, we have 92 new recovered COVID patients in that same time period, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which brings our total recovered to 396. So we have 220 active cases currently in the county. It's hard for me to give you a total number of what we would consider patients under monitoring, which basically means those who are under home quarantine, but a good number probably would be maybe 22, maybe 2,000 people, or who are, I would be considered maybe under home isolation or home monitoring for those 220 active cases. We are sad to report that we do have 3 new deaths in the county over the past maybe week or so, that we do have to do an investigation on those. The first one is a male in the 70 to 80 age range. The second one is another male in the 60 to 70 age range. And the third one is a female in the 60 to 70 age range, a female. And they all 3 did have underlying health conditions. I will kind of echo what Dr. Brown said about the hospitalizations we currently have in the hospital. And it is more difficult, I know, for our local hospital as well as some of our outlying urgent care centers and standalone ERs to get patients transferred to a hospital. There is a disconnect between maybe sometimes some of what you may hear on TV, between what hospitalizations look like, bed availability looks like, ICU bed availability looks like, versus what reality is. And I don't know if what that causes, if it's politics or what's the inner workings of it is, but I can tell you that it's not true as far as how it is to get a patient into a hospital. It's not as easy as sometimes they make it seem. So for other reasons other than COVID, whether it's a surgery or a gallbladder or a car accident or a stroke or a heart attack, we need beds every day, 365 days a year, 7 days a week. So, we rely on the medical center for our patients. And so, we're transferring patients actually all over Texas for a bed right now. We have had, since Texas started reopening in May, we have had a 2,300% increase in our active case count. So that just kind of gives you a good picture of our numbers. May the 1st, we had 42 total cases in Chambers County with only 9 active cases. That kind of gives you a good picture. Today, we have 618 total cases with 220 active cases. And that goes to, we know that people would start gathering when Texas reopened and would start traveling a little bit. And so what we really want to do is just push that message of people just really implementing those non-pharmaceutical interventions, which include hand washing and trying to not leave home right now for, really non-essential travel, and just, cleaning of surfaces, wearing face masks, face coverings, really working on social distancing and avoiding, those gatherings of more than 10. We really just need to continue to help slow the spread, ease the burden on the hospital systems. What we're seeing is a lot of healthcare workers are coming down with it. In a rural community like ours, we really depend on our healthcare workers because we don't have a lot of backup for those. Let me see what else I have written down. I think that's about it. I think Dr. Brown covered a lot of it. I know he's in tune with the region and gives us good insight on what's going on with our region because we depend on that. The case counts in the region are going up, and that's kind of indicative of what's going on here locally as well. We're always here and happy to answer questions from you guys as well as the people in the community, because we want people to be well informed and to be well informed with the right information. So we all benefit from the right information. So I'll be available. I'm here for questions if y'all ever have any.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Brown. Thank you, Mary Beth. Appreciate the update. All right. So put Ryan back in there, please.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, let's go to 1.1, discuss, consider renewal of disaster declaration. Chambers County. Let's do a citizen comment first. I'm sorry. Lauren.
There's a public comment from Gloria Romer with the Seabreeze Beacon. Kudos to County Engineer Corey Taylor. His Facebook page, Chambers County Road and Bridge, provides up-to-date information on the projects and construction sites of the county. It is great information. The Seabreeze Beacon publishes his post on our Facebook page so we can update our followers as well. Good job and thank you.
Great job, Corey. Appreciate it. Thank you for the kudos from the Seabreeze Beacon. All right, now 1.1, discuss and consider renewal disaster declaration for Chambers County resulting from COVID-19, originally issued on March 12, 2020. Ryan, would you address that, please?
Okay, so we drafted a renewed declaration for your consideration. The one that was approved back around March 17th, it had some old information in it. It had had a curfew in it. It had also some emergency measures about groups that centered around 50 persons. And all of this was before the governor's current guidance came out. So I was recommending that a revision be made or a renewed declaration that left the emergency protective measures out. That way the disaster declaration will be separate from any future emergency protective measures that may happen that could change as the state changes their guidelines and supersedes or allows local control as necessary.
I'll entertain a motion.
So move, Judge.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Tice. Questions?
Hey, Judge, you said, Ryan said something about supersedes the current governor's order. Is that what you're meaning, Ryan? Because it seems
No,
like
the-
you're taking some of the stuff off of the order.
Yes, the governor's orders have superseded local orders. And
Mayors and
so,
judges.
right, the old declaration was made before he started doing that. That's what I
So
was.
what is this, by continuing this, what does this add to anything? I mean, I doesn't see where it adds anything to what, any more than what the governor already
It
puts
allows
out.
us to be eligible to receive funds from the CARES Act, disaster reimbursement funds.
Okay, that explains it.
That's the big deal, right, Judge?
Yes, Ryan, anything else you want to add to that?
You asked me a question, I need to turn my volume up.
I said, anything else you want to add to that? I mean, it's got to be.
Oh,
in
no,
place.
no. No, the main thing is it just, the new declarations you have now doesn't list emergency measures below. The original document had emergency measures, which are now inconsistent with what the governor is saying. That's really the main point.
Yeah,
of
so it
besides what the
cleans all those up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it defers to the governor.
But it keeps us eligible for a funding if it's available.
Under the CARES
Yes.
Act, yes, currently,
Okay.
or FEMA. All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, is Ron in there? We can get an EMS update.
I can dial him in on my speakerphone here, Judge, if you want me to.
Okay,
I'll let you
and
know.
then we'll go into consent item. I marked it earlier. 17, the Chambers County EMS update.
Hey, Judge,
Yes, sir.
you remind everybody today is a runoff election day across the state of Texas and encourage everybody to come out and vote.
You just did. Thank you very much, Commissioner. But yes, it is, and it's very important that you go vote today, if you haven't. It had 2 weeks early voting, so I think most people early voted, but if you hadn't voted, please do so.
Now, in November, we're gonna have, say in November, we're gonna have 3 weeks of early voting, aren't we?
I'm not sure. I know it's 2 full weeks across the county,
All right.
but it could be.
Okay, I
3.
got Ron.
All right, Ron, EMS update.
Everybody hear me?
Morning.
Call Sandy on her cell phone. She's down there fraternizing with.
Hello?
It's too low volume.
I was laughing at Lisa in the background.
Hello?
I have it as loud as I can get it.
Ron, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
You
I'm
can.
trying to talk loud if I need to.
No, we got you.
Okay. So the Chambers County EMS updates, I apologize about last month. It was left off the agenda, kind of a mistake on my part and Lauren's part. So I didn't give you all the update for the month of May. But I did include the numbers in there for May and for June and our current to-date numbers as of the 7th. Currently, Chambers County EMS, our call volume is up 27% compared to where it was in April and May, which is what we anticipated after the COVID-19 started. People were less likely to call 911, less likely to go to the hospital. We're starting to see that increase now. We're also seeing a significant increase due to the construction on 3180, the 1409 project, and all that construction that's right there on I-10 in Mount Bellevue. So a couple of things we did to resolve that is, one, any type of motor vehicle accident or call that's along I-10 anywhere between 565 and Highway 99, we've got with Emergency Service Director Lee Ashton over in Mount Bellevue. And anytime there's a call that drops in that area, we're basically dispatching both Mount Bellevue EMS and Fire, as well as Chambers County EMS and co-volunteer fire department. And we're doing that because of the construction and the access. Like we had a wreck yesterday that was on I-10 just west of Highway 99. Mount Bellevue has much easier access to that, but it was technically in our territory. They made it on scene in about 3 minutes. It took our guys almost 12 minutes to get there. So we're doing it that way to alleviate any confusion. And also that way we make sure we're providing the best care to the citizens of Chambers County. The other thing we've done, because of the hospital overages and the shortage of beds and the extensive patients that are being held in ERs across the region that are waiting for beds upstairs, is with the help of Dr. Brown, with the help of Mary Beth, Dr. Redmond, and Dr. Cavispar, we've initiated alternative destination protocol. Kind of what that means is that's something we just put into place on Friday that went into effect Monday morning. Basically what that is that some of these standalone ERs, there's a facility that's on Beltway 8, just south of Highway 90. It's an HCA, which is a large hospital provider. So the standalone facilities, they're connected to an actual hospital like HCA First Choice, and there's also one in Methodist, one that's down in Pearland. We have started to transport to those destinations as well versus going to just San Jacinto Methodist, just Bayside, or just some of the other facilities. To give you an idea, our average call time for the month of June was 2 hours and 47 minutes, which if you take into consideration our transport times are 30 to 45 minutes, our response times and on-scene times are about 45 minutes, and about 45 minutes to get back in service and back in town. That's pretty good. At the beginning of June, our average call time went up to 5 hours and 47 minutes because of the wait times in the ERs trying to find patients, room for these patients to get them offloaded off of our stretcher. So we've kind of initiated that policy as well. Like I said, with the help assistant of the public health department, as well as the chief medical director of Chambers County EMS, to make sure we did it the legal way for the state of Texas to follow the rules and regulations and make sure that was done correctly also. And what we've done to kind of help with the call volume is, especially on the weekends, on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, we're staffing all 3 units. And we ensure that we have the supervisor on duty as well to give us an extra truck. And then we're trying to minimal staffing is a minimum of the 2 trucks and the 2 responders. So we always have access to the 3rd, which has helped. We do have days like yesterday. Yesterday, all 4 of our med units were on a call at the same time because of waiting at the hospital. We had to roll 2 calls, one to Mount Bellevue and one to Winnie. But we've also worked with them on that as well. And they're providing some additional staffing as well to help with the overflow, so it's kind of hit all 3 services at the same time. And that's about the extent of the update, and I can answer any questions that you guys might have.
Sorry, I was muted. Question about billing, Ron. Are we billing? We got all that process going? Ron, did you hear me?
I can't really understand. It sounds like you're mumbling. Can Ryan repeat the question for me?
Yeah, he's asking if you got the billing processes set up and in operation.
Yeah, so we did get the billing process set up. We have our NPI number through the federal government. We also have our Medicare license number. We're working on our Medicaid license number. We should start collecting our Medicare revenue from the last 90 to 120 days within the next 30 to 60 days. And we should start to see some of that revenue coming in. Currently, we have $367,000 in billable. When you take into consideration contract amounts, for Medicare contractual rates, federal government contractual rates, we'll probably collect an average of 30% of that. So we should, right now, with outstanding billables, we probably have collectible wise anywhere from 30 to 40,000, excluding private pay, private insurance and stuff like that. That's just Medicare and Medicaid.
Thank you. Any other questions, Ron?
Hey, Judge.
Yes, sir.
All the calls on COVID and then this additional manpower, is that being charged to COVID and potentially reimbursable, or how are we doing that?
I don't know that any of that's eligible. We can look at it though. Ryan, did you get the question? Did Ron hear?
Yeah, Ron, what Commissioner Gore was asking was if the extra calls that are due to COVID, are those reimbursable costs?
Can we quantify those?
There's several questions on that. Me and Bill have dug into that pretty extensively, and currently, from what we can gather, what they consider normal job duties for EMS, fire, and sheriff's office and police department are not reimbursable through COVID-19. And most of the stuff that we're doing is just considered normal call volume. So it's not really going to be reimbursable through COVID-19. Now, we are doing 214s and things to make sure when we actually transport known or confirmed COVID patients or suspected COVID patients, so we can try and work on the reimbursement for it on the background. But we can literally only be reimbursed for those calls, for those specific time frames. So if, we get a call and we have a potential COVID patient and it takes for 3 hours and 20 minutes to do the call, we're literally trying to nickel and dime that 3 hours and 20 minutes to see if we can get a reimbursement for it. But the normal day-to-day operations, even with additional staffing and things of that nature, are not covered under the CARES Act.
So
One of the disadvantages we have also is because we were not a licensed agency through the federal government, the state with Medicare and Medicare license prior to January 1st of 2020. We don't qualify as an EMS organization for some of the additional CARES funding that's available because we didn't have a Medicare license and MPI number prior to January 1st of 2020, and the cutoff date was December 31st of 2019. So Winnie qualified for some of those as well as Mount W, and they did get some additional funding from the CARES Act through CMS, but Chambers County EMS does not qualify for that because we didn't have our license and stuff in place prior to that date.
Commissioner, some of the things we're doing with EMS, like at the testing sites and those kind of things, we'll be seeking reimbursement for that.
Judge,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Billy, Commissioner Combs?
yes, would we get reimbursed for the COVID ambulance that we got?
I think we're seeking reimbursement for that.
Ron, Commissioner Combs was asking about the ambulance that was purchased, if there's potential for reimbursement on that expenditure.
We are still working on that, and we're working on that through the COVID-19, through the CARES Act, and there's some other services that have done the same thing that have applied for the reimbursement through the CARES Act, and we're kind of waiting on that to see how that's going to work, only because that's one of those questions there's not a firm answer anywhere within the 57-page document on whether or not that's actually a COVID-related purchase or not. So we're just kind of waiting, and we're going to apply for the reimbursement, but there's no guarantee we're going to get the reimbursement, if that makes sense.
Any other questions? All right, Ron, thank you very much. Thank you for your report. Okay.
Thank you. If you ever need anything else, give me a call.
Thank you. All right, so we have Jay Simon on the line. We're going to go down to economic development and tourism. You want
BJ, are you
to,
there?
BJ, can you hear me? All right, so 5.1 is a public hearing at 10 a.m. regarding the Black Creek Group, BCIF Cedar Port Logistics Center, LLC tax abatement agreement. So it's 10:07 a.m. We're going into public hearing at this time. If you'll read on the agenda, there was a way for anyone who chose to fill out a public participation form and submit it to the court for the public hearing. At this time, there were no forms that were filled out. So we'll open it up for a public hearing. If the commissioners have anything they'd like to address on it, or BJ, anything you'd like to say in the public hearing?
The notice was posted as required, and look on any questions that you have.
Okay. All right. So let's turn out a public hearing.
Hey, Judge?
Sir.
Yeah, I just want to ask BJ a question, if you don't mind.
Well, we can go to that item. You want to do it in the item? Or you
I
want-
can. Yes, that'd be great. Yes.
Okay, so let's start the public hearing at 10:08 a.m. Go down to the item 5.2, discuss and consider Black Creek Group, BCIF, Cedar Port Logistics Center, LLC tax payment agreement. All right, Commissioner Gore, question.
And this is not really pertaining, to this in particular, it's just a general question. Has he seen across the board, are we having a slowdown due to this COVID on potential development?
BJ, did you hear that question?
He was breaking up right at the end.
All right, so the question was, due to the COVID-19, have we seen a slowdown in developments?
We're very active, Commissioner and Judge, Commissioners. Just recently presented a report to our executive committee, and we're working a number of projects. This particular project has been in the queue for some time. It was delayed simply because of the court's inability at the time to accommodate public hearing. But the logistics sector in particular is very active. As a matter of fact, there are 2 projects that are on today's agenda. So I think the area, because of all the fundamentals that exist, will continue to be of interest for logistics and distribution projects, as well as other petrochemical projects.
Okay, we hit the highlights of this, BJ.
Just to remind, this application was presented and accepted to the court back in January, and then the reinvestment zone was approved back in March. This is a 42-acre project, approximately 640,000 square foot distribution center, rail served distribution center. The project is going to be complemented by some additional development by CCID number 2. Their target tenant is e-commerce, and there are several large projects floating around, or contracts, if you will. Everybody's kind of positioning themselves to try to land those contracts. But Black Creek Group, Well Heeled Group, they have a portfolio that includes office, industrial, and retail development. So it's a good sign that they've decided to invest in Chambers County.
Great.
Move for approval, Judge.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Nelson. Questions? Those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.3, discuss and consider TGS Cedar Port Partners LP tax abatement application. BJ.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, this is an application that's being presented by TGS Cedar Port Partners. Their intent is to build a 210 square foot facility. This is going to be an assembly manufacturing facility. This is to accommodate a project that is a joint venture between Zachary Industrial, CB&I, and Toyota International. Facility in and of itself is going to be a transitional facility in that once the project leases or finds another tenant, you'll note that in their application they have requested. The idea is if the county accepts the application today, is to go back at next court to present the possibility of inverting the tax abatement schedule so as to allow them to pay taxes on it, given or simply instead of 100% for the first 2 years, inverting the schedule to 50, 60, 75, 100, and to accommodate a new tenant if in fact they do present. If not, the agreement can be modified. So that's the essence of the request for variance. So today, the application is being presented for acceptance, and then the next court present more details on the particular schedules and terms for the abatement.
Move to accept the application.
Second, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Tice. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 5.4, discuss and consider NPH Market Street LLC project courts tax abatement application. BJ.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioners, this is another project, competitive project that has been percolating around the area for quite some time. National Property Holdings, or NPH Market Street LLC, also known as AmeriPort Building 16, is presenting its application for tax abatement for a potential build-to-suit project known as Project Quartz. As noted in the cover letter, this is a tilt wall construction, 806,000 square foot, and all the elements that are noted there. There's also some complementary infrastructure projects that AmeriPort and CCID 2 would undertake related to EW4 and other elements, and the possibility that this would be the first phase of a 3-phase project. The county is also working with a broader development agreement with National Property Holdings the idea is to present this application for acceptance today, and then come back next court with particulars with respect to some of the elements for a development agreement, not only to accommodate this project, but the other infrastructure elements that are tied to this project.
Move to accept the application.
Second, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Tice. Questions on the NPH Market Street? Hearing none, those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BJ, I think that's all we had for you today, or you had for us.
Yeah, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, BJ.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, let's go back up to 2.1. Let's go to 2.1. Discuss and consider Commissioner Precinct 1 solid waste permits 2018-19 audit report. Jimmy, anything you want to address on that?
No, sir, we read through it and took all the recommendations of the auditing office and already implemented those, and everything's good.
Okay. Any questions on the audit from other commissioners?
Motion to accept the report.
Second.
Who did that, Gary?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, second, who seconded it? Commissioner
Gore.
Okay. All right, here are no questions. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you to the auditor's office. All right, I think we're through at page 1. Nope. 1.2. 1.2, discuss and consider proposal to enter into a purchase contract for a new jury system product in the amount of $41,936 with Tyler Technologies Incorporated. And I tell you, with this pandemic, we've been using the heck out of Tyler Technologies, and we've gone to electronic signatures on the civil and the criminal side. So it's working really well, and
Your Honor,
still learning, but
Your Honor,
yes, sir.
I spent quite a bit of time with Patty, this, and she's just basically validating what you're saying on this. And I really am impressed with the number that she worked hard to get, and it looks like it's a fair number. And I think the service is what you're most impressed about, though, right, Judge?
It is, and I'm also impressed that I have Austin, who guides me through the process, and Lauren and Aaron. Because usually every time I have to go through there and figure out, all right, now how to sign this? But I'm like, the old dogs and new tricks.
That's right.
All right, Patty's on the line. Patty? Yes, Your Honor. Would you please address this? I know you got it. You got a very good letter in the packet, but if anything else you'd like to say about it, go ahead.
I do. I would like to just go over some information that we've gathered and let you know that this is not a decision we came to lightly. We realize that the county, that the most important thing is the efficiency and the cost effectiveness of the county.
All right, Patty, hang on just a minute.
I mean, I can hear faintly, Judge. It just needs to.
I'm gonna try to get you a little closer. All right, here we go. All right, Patty, go ahead.
Start over, Patty.
Say, all right, go ahead.
Let me try on my phone. Is that better?
Oh, yeah. that's good.
Much better.
I have my headset on. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, just to give a little history of this really quickly. Before we converted to Tyler, we had NetData. NetData, the financials were connected in NetData between the case management system and the jury system. And when we moved to Tyler, that was not the case. So the main reason one of the main reasons is because right now the treasurer's office is anytime they write a check to a juror, they have to create a vendor for that person, that juror, in their record, and then cut a check to that person. Well, if you're paying 75 people on one jury, that's a lot of time. It's a huge amount of time. So they've been asking me since day one, can we get an interface built? Can we get something done? When we signed on our main contract with Tyler in 2015, we did purchase the jury package. It is a package that they built themselves. And as we've gone through the years, it's just not been very effective. It sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They've been working on it, but last year they decided to make a decision to move away from this product and purchase an existing jury package that has actually been in existence for at least 20 years. It's a national company that they bought. When they said that, I said, well, wait a minute. We don't necessarily want to go with Tyler. We're going to shop. We're going to shop other jury packages to get the best deal we can possibly get for the. And that's when I pulled in the auditor, the treasurer, the IT department, and Aaron and said, okay, let's look at what we have across the state and what's available to us. So that's the jury comparison chart that you have in your packet. It shows you the current system we have, Tyler Jury Manager, and iJury, which is another product. If you want me to go into detail on that comparison, I can, but if you look down iJury, you can see the cost is extensive. Even though the software is free, the cost of hiring a programmer to program it is very, very expensive.
Right.
And right now, in our current jury system, what we have, we are paying about $36,000 a year just for the system. Then over to the very far right at the top, under this jury payout for the county, we're paying about $35,000 a year just for the first day of service. That's $10 a person. The goal is to get a web application set up so that we cut that jury payout to the county by at least a third, maybe half. And if we do that, if we go, which everybody recommended that we go with Tyler Jury Manager, it just makes sense for all departments involved. It's the easiest. They interface with our financials. We're going to have that as part of the contract. They offer the online application. People can go online and register so we know they received the summons. They can get text messages, email messages to show up. So we don't have people showing up if they don't qualify to serve or if they claim an exemption. And with that package, the cost of that is $43,690. But with the savings in juror payout, we can probably cut that down by a third. So really, we're only going to, as opposed to what we're paying right now, which is about $72,000 a year, we'd only end up paying about $60,000 a year for the new system. Any questions about any of that so far?
Patty, I think you just answered it. That $42,000 a year is $42,000 is an annual price for this, correct?
It is an annual. It's $43,690, and that's an annual price.
How long is that for?
Why do I have $41,936 on my agenda?
Honestly, I don't know where that came from. That's not how I entered it. That is what we have in our budget. I've talked to the IT department, and the money that we can pull budgeted, we have money. We have $41,000 available in our budget. However, this is a 9-month process. And we're not signing a new contract. We're just amending our current contract.
Okay.
So Judge Sylvia, I talked to him before this, and he mentioned, do we have to pay the whole $43,000 up front, even though we have it budgeted and the money is in the budget? And after talking with Tyler, that is not the case. We do not have, they would like it, of course. But right now, what we have just for jury is we have 15.2 available, and we have 5,400 in our maintenance fee from our current system. So that's 20,600 right there. We also have the fact that we have not had any juries this year. So the normal 72,000 that we would have spent this year is going to be significantly reduced. I mean, we're already to July and we're not even allowed to have a jury until September, if even then. So we haven't
End of
spent
September.
even half of the 72,000.
So my question was, Patty, when we discussed it, it's a 9-month process. And so I guess we're paying for them to set it up. We can't use it for 9 months. So why do we have to pay the whole 41,000 or 43,000 up front for something we can't use for 9 months?
Well, and their response to that is that because we're a SaaS client, they'll set up a server just for us as our server with our jury information on it, our wheel, and that there's some upfront costs. But like I said, I already told them that getting the whole thing up front was going to be slim to none at this point in the year. And so they're willing to come, at a lower price. And I would suggest half, which is the $20,600 that we already have budgeted to pay for jury this year.
Okay.
We would have to pay it anyway. In other words, if we move forward with our current system. So that's what I'm suggesting, is that we use and give them that to get us started, because if we can get most of it configured and be up and running by the beginning of next year, we are way ahead of the game.
Okay, so
You said,
go ahead.
you said this price was good for, that 43,690 was good for how long? And then the price was going to increase?
It's good for 3 years. What they did was they gave the county an $18,000 and $18,012 credit for our current jury contract.
Yes, ma'am.
Has reduced the price down to the 43,690. They said that in 3 years they raised to, instead of $5.14 per summons, $6.76 per summons. However, that number will fluctuate depending on how many summons we issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Are based on issuing 8,500 summons a year. If we only issue 7,000 summons, it's gonna reduce our pricing for the year. If we issue 10,000 summons, it's gonna increase it a little bit. 85 is very generous for our population where we are right now. I think we're gonna be able to do 85 or lower for the next few years anyway.
Patty, when do you anticipate calling the jury? Have you got any idea on that?
We can't do it till after September 30th for sure, according to the Office of Court Administration.
Correct. So we're gonna
As of
save
right
all
now.
that money this year.
So we're gonna
Because we're
pay
not gonna be
34.
pulling anything. We're gonna save a ton of money, which I'm hoping we can put towards this product.
Well, so I'm saying that we're paying for a product we're not gonna be able to use right now. Is that correct?
Yes, but that's with anything, even with Tyler, when we went live with Tyler, we paid money before we went live. We paid
that up
bills
front.
for configuration, for training, for setup. That was all part of the contract. And
That was up front. We paid that up front.
Yes, and like Patty said earlier, there's hardware, there's software, there's all these things we got to pay for. And even if we were having jury trials, didn't you say it'd be 9 months before we'd be able to use this, Patty?
And that's what they estimate. They
Okay.
think they can get it in 7 months, but they're saying 9 months just to be safe.
So we'll use the current jury system, Tyler
We'll
jury
use the
system
current
until then.
system. Yes.
Okay, so our 3 years start when it goes into effect or when we sign the contract?
A 3-year start when we sign the contract.
I would say, yeah, because you're
Okay,
paying
so,
development and setup and all that.
So the good news about that is if we sign the contract now and we go into the beginning of the year and we're still in this lockdown mode, which I'm knocking on wood, I hope we aren't, that means our summons numbers are going to go down. So we're not going to owe as much. See what I'm saying? It's based on summons issued.
Yeah, but all we savings at $10, right? For jury member?
That's what we pay.
Right.
She's talking about the summons that are issued to the jurors through the Tyler system.
We save that too.
Yeah. Well, what we got on the agenda right now is 41,936. So I think that say here's what we're doing.
Change
Well,
that to
I
40.
calculated 34,000, or 35,000 roughly if you divide that 46 number into 9 months left. That'd be basically 35,000 total for the 9 months left.
No, it's a year contract.
Well, yeah, but you say we only have 9 months left in this year.
No. It
Start back over in January.
months from the date we signed the contract to go live with the system.
It's
So it'll
taking
be-
9 months to
Tyler, it took a
implement
year.
the product for us.
Yeah, it took 12 months for Tyler's case management system from contract signature, actually from kickoff to go live, it was 12 months. From kickoff to go live with the jury, it's 9 months. And kickoff would happen within, as soon, a few weeks after we signed the amended contract.
Do we have the contract they're willing to amend to this new product since they're doing both products?
Right, they're going to amend
We have
our
an
current
existing
jury
contract.
contracts and substitute it with this jury program.
So what we have on the agenda is approve 41,936. I think that's all you can approve. Patty, I think we do that and offer that to them. And if they don't accept it, don't tell them, but then we come back to court. Of course, they may be listening on YouTube, but
Wait, so you want to give them 41,936 in 2020? Because they'd be happy with half of that.
oh, you're talking about, okay, so we could approve up to the 41,936. Sorry, I missed part.
But Patty, they'd be happy with the 20,600, right?
I believe so for this year, because by the time we get a contract and they actually get going, we'll have 3 or 4 months left in the year. I think that would subside. If you want to give us the whole 41 and we don't spend it, that's absolutely possible that we won't even spend it all. But
Okay.
So if we approve the 41,936 for a year, and that's a year from whenever the contract goes in effect, not January 1?
And you know what? I'm going to take back that last statement, because if you approve 41,936, they're going to want 41,936
Absolutely.
right now when we amend the contract.
All right, can we prorate it per month? Divide that 43, whatever, 12, Aaron?
Again, my recommendation is that we give them what we already have money for and we already plan to pay for this year, which is the $2,600. And then for 2021, we pay them the full 43,690.
So how much did you say we had again, Patty, right now? 20 what?
$20,600.
That'd be my motion.
Second.
Second, yeah.
20,600.
Motion by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Gore. Okay, so tell me why the 20,600?
Because we have 15.2 left that we budgeted for the web application that they did not install because it was broken. And we have 5,400 in annual maintenance costs for the jury package, which we have not paid yet.
Okay, so that,
So that money was scheduled to be paid out this year anyway.
all right, so then it'd go toward this versus going toward the other.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so
And then we have to come back in January to get the balance of it, right?
we'll have to pay the 43,000 in January.
Right.
You'll
For
have
a
to
full
pay the
year.
full amount in next year, and I don't think, yes, let's just say it's January, and if it's later, then that's fine, at least.
Yeah, whatever next year.
Okay.
Make sure that you get with Aaron and IT and make sure that's budgeted properly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so the motion is to approve 20,600 to Tyler Technologies for a new jury system product. Is that correct? That's your motion? And your second? I
Yes,
got a
sir.
motion, a second. Any other questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you,
Thank
Patty.
you.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, I think we're done with page 1. All right, let's get down to personnel 18-1. Discuss, consider engine healthcare department. We're still looking at 7-1, making sure we have the correct number in the packet on the county court of law.
Judge,
Okay, basi-
18-1 or 7-1?
18-1. We skipped over 7-1, checking the numbers. that are actually in the packet.
It could be more. Could be less.
It could- Yeah, it could be. So George texted us and you're checking the numbers.
Yeah, we're still checking.
Okay.
Judge, I have a question on 18-1.
Go ahead.
Would Ms. Moss be brought in as a director or as a caseworker? In the letter, it said director, but in the application for the pay raise,
Casework.
it called it a caseworker.
Yes, it's director. I see a case manager. No, that should be, she's currently.
She's
case
currently a
manager.
case, yeah.
She would be the director of the Department of Indigent Health.
Okay, then there's an error on the,
Yeah, we
Raised.
can get that corrected. All right, any questions?
We looking for approval on this, Judge, just to go ahead and implement this? I mean, because I feel that she's gonna be the best one for the position right now.
Yes, well, there's no doubt about it. She's got 20 years experience, whatever it is. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion that we move ahead with making her the department.
Indigent Healthcare Director.
Yeah, Indigent Health Director,
I'll
yes.
second it.
Motion by Commissioner Gore, second by Commissioner Nelson. Any other questions, comments? Those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. We'll come back to 7-1. We'll check those numbers. All right, consent agenda. First thing, one, we'll start with you. I think we started at 4 last time, didn't we?
We did. We got some on number 6, Judge, we'd like to take to executive session.
All right, so you want to take the payroll changes to executive session?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then we
Make
can
sure that
take
was
them
it.
and come back out. Take them under
Yeah, if we-
personnel,
Yeah, if you don't mind.
and then we can vote on them all at one time if you'd like to.
Yes, sir.
Else, Commissioner?
Um,
Oh, let me, number 29 is tabled. 24th, county attorney. Number 33 is tabled. 24th. Number 25 is the bids for the new parking lot construction. Award contract to lowest bidder. You didn't have anything in your packet because it came in. The bid for the 3 parking lots came in at $307,000. That's one south of the courthouse, north of the courthouse, and east of the courthouse. That's the parking lot and the pad for the new office buildings. And it also is restriping around the courthouse. There's some concrete work around the courthouse too, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it'll make the concrete walkway that goes around the courthouse, I think, versus 2.5 foot or whatever it is. It's not near big enough for handicap. So, and this is under the estimate that we've gotten.
this is all part of the 2 buildings as well.
Part of the 2 buildings and the parking for the courthouse and the buildings. And we have 1 bidder, and it was HK Concrete LLC, and he's comfortable with the bidder and the work that he does. So he's recommending approval on that one. All right, Jimmy, what else on the consent?
At 13, I was just wanting to, is that a computer program or on the fire marshal deal to put on the computer? We're paying $260 a month for a computer program, or what is that?
I can put Ryan back in real quick, Commissioner, 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Anything else, Jimmy, while he's getting them in?
Not off the top of my head, no, sir.
It says this inspection module will allow schedule and perform inspections in the field, include photos and information. That would
Yeah, it's
be
gotta
the MGO
yeah.
system. I feel it will greatly enhance record keeping and ability to quickly recall, reference, track inspections. Currently, I'm able to fulfill this request within budget. So yes, it's
Yeah,
budget.
that's fine.
Okay.
I'll add something real quick, Commissioner, that we currently use MGO. This is Austin speaking, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Use MGO in the permitting side of things currently. And it's a program that we currently have in place. And it appears that this would just be an additional module on top of that.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was
And
wondering.
that system's worked really well.
Mhm.
You know,
We haven't had to touch it in the IT department. I don't think once.
Okay, I knew we had something. I was just curious why we was adding to it. That's fine. Okay. Fine.
we can come back to it. All right, Commissioner Gore.
No, sir, I'm good.
All right, precinct 2, Commissioner Tice.
Yes, sir. I'm good.
Commissioner 3.
There was an item between 436 and 438 with drainage on Hackberry. I don't know if I just got stuck in there or what. It was between 24 and 25. And I didn't see where that pertained to any agenda item that we were discussing here.
It must have inadvertently got put into the package. We don't have anything on.
You're not talking about the release of the retention for Angel Brothers on the Kilgore drainage, are you?
No.
No, it's 24 is except Kilgore Parkway segment 2 in the county maintenance. So it's between 24 and 25.
Yeah, it was just talking about it was talking about wetlands and something from the Corps, you know.
That was on Kilgore Park. No, that was accepting the Kilgore Park extension into our maintenance program. The extension that CCID or not, CCID.
Yeah, CCID number 3.
That's it, Billy.
That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
This
So
is
CDI.
the Department of Army, you know, the Corps of Engineers.
That's correct.
Wrote to Bobby
Commissioner.
Hall.
That's correct. And that's because they had to renew the core permit. When they did the road, they had not renewed the core permit. So Corey would not accept it into the maintenance program until they got that core permit. And that core permit will also allow for us to extend all the way to 3180.
So what does that have to do with Kilgore Parkway?
It's where they extended Kilgore Parkway through CCID number 3.
So east of 99 through Bay 10 is Kilgore Parkway extension. And it drains into Hackberry.
Yeah, well, I didn't see, I mean, to me, it was act like it was that new part of the road. We've been working with trying to get that other drainage done. I didn't know if they had anything to do with that or not.
Well, in a way it does. It renewed the permit for that.
But this segment's already built by Bay 10.
That is built, but it will also serve for our permit when we extend from the end of where CCID number 3 stopped all the way to 3180.
So that extends it for how long, Billy?
I can't answer that. I think it's 2-3 years. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Okay.
But we'll check it, Corey. Or you can, Gary, if you'd like to.
I just didn't, I mean, I could, when I started reading about it, I said, what that has to do with those two agenda items? Okay.
All right, you good with it? We can get Corey on the phone if we need to.
That's really all I had. I think everything else, I mean, other than.
All right, Commissioner Combs.
Yeah, Judge, on 19.1, I just want to make a couple of recognitions and point out our Chambers County Historical Commission was awarded a award in that. I thought that was worth noting.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I'd failed to make a note of it. So,
yeah, I think that's very well noted and kudos to them.
yes.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks for sharing, Commissioner.
Larry George had written a goodbye letter in there, and I just want to recognize Commissioner George and all he did, and wish him well when he goes to Alabama.
Thank you very much. I visited with him last week. Hate to see him go, but I'm with you from all of us wishing him Yes. All right.
One more thing, Judge.
Go ahead.
I have a question on the item number 2819.28. That's the subscription or the software for post-employment for human resources. And my question on it is $1,500, but is that an annual, a monthly fee, or what is the duration of that?
What number are you on, Billy? Sorry.
That would be 28.
28. I don't know. I'll have Aaron check with Kat on that.
That's all I have.
Aaron.
Hey, Judge. Hey, Judge. 1911, the facial stuff, the reasonable accommodations, shields instead of masks. Can they elaborate on that a little bit? I mean, do they have to have proof of something, or, I mean, a lot of people are claustrophobic or have asthma and other stuff like that. I mean, how does that work, the face shields?
We'd have to talk to Mr. Bill. I know Ryan was working on that, Sam, and they were coordinating with Scott Pill on it. And we discussed it, but I don't remember the answer, Jimmy.
I mean, I have a lot of people ask me that question. Can I wear face shields instead of this mask? And I mean, so
I think the answer is yes.
Okay.
But I'll have Lauren text and ask, and we'll get an answer when we come back.
Thank you.
Question, Lauren? Okay. All right. Anything else on the consent? You want to approve them all except for payroll changes that go to executive session? Or do you want to wait and approve them when we come back? It doesn't matter to me.
We can go and approve them now, Judge.
Okay.
For approval.
Motion by Commissioner Combs.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gore to approve all the consent items. Except number 6, it's going to executive session. Number 20 table and number 33 table. Correct?
Yes, sir.
No other questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, at this time, we are going to go to executive session. It's 10:45 a.m. Under 18.1. We're going to take 18.1, discuss, consider, no, I'm sorry. Number 6 on consent, approve payroll changes. And then under executive session, 20.1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going under personnel, section 551074 of the government code, consultation with attorneys, section 551071, and deliberation regarding real property, 51072.
Is Kat going to be available for executive session, Judge?
She should be.
Okay.
All right, let me go ahead and read these for executive session. 20.1, discuss, consider approving an appraisal and proposed agreement regarding relocation and abandonment of right-of-way with NPH Market Street LLC to exchange real property and right-of-way for a proposed road and drainage realignment near the Maryport development and SH 99. 20.2, discuss and consider county's current elevator contract with Otis Elevator. 20.3, discuss and consider personnel issues. And yes, Kat's available for that one. I've got her name down here. 20.4, discuss and consider status of litigation, Texas Home Development with legal counsel. All right, with that, at 10:47 a.m., we will recess to executive session. All right, it's 1:10 p.m. We've recessed, adjourned out of executive session, back in regular session of Commissioners Court. Let's take the executive session items first. No action on 20.2, 20.3, 20.4. I'll entertain a motion on 20.1.
Judge, I move that we approve the appraisal and the proposed agreement with MPH Market Street LLC.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Tice. Any questions, discussion? Hear none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, number 6 on the consent, approve payroll changes.
Judge, I'd like to pull Julie Lozier and approve the rest. Tammy, I want to approve her as a lateral transfer at the same pay and approve the rest as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Gore,
Second.
second by Commissioner Nelson. Questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Let's go to 7.1, discuss and consider approving the building purchase to house county court at law. All right, Aaron.
Commissioners, I emailed you this morning. The invoice that's in the packet is incorrect. So I emailed you the new number for the County Court of Law portable building, and that number is 265,384. The judge kind of wanted me to give a quick update on the project. So when we first brought the project to y'all, we had an original budget of about $1 million, a little over $1 million for the project. Right now, we're coming under, as of right now, but just a little over $100,000 because the parking lot came under what we expected. We're still missing a few numbers for some technology stuff, but that's where we're at right now. Currently, the expected delivery date is September, and they'll be able to move in sometime in October. They'll have to install the building and hook up the utilities and buy furniture and technology stuff. So the project should be fully completed in October, including the parking and the restriping.
Okay, and that is, we're talking about 3 parking areas, 2 modular buildings, 1 for the DA's office, offices, and then the others for the county court at law and related offices for the new county court at law that'll go in January 1. And the good thing about buying these modular buildings, when we finally get our Justice Center built, they'll have some value to resell. And instead of renting a building, or we should be able to resell these, and they're well built. They're going to serve a good purpose. So, all right.
Move for approval, Judge.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Commissioner Combs, second by Commissioner Tice. Any questions? Hear none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I think we covered everything on the agenda. Anybody know of anything we missed?
I don't see anything, Your Honor.
All right, court's adjourned. Thank you, guys. Be safe out there. Stay away from the COVID.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Bye.